buongiorno, everybody. This is Nebraska, and it's time for
TC and Jake.
a lesson of 4.
Well, I've never been better.
Market improvement from 41 hours ago. Are these things on?
Yeah.
Okay.
I turned them on a while ago.
Okay.
I've just been sitting here doing stuff.
Delete the stuff at the beginning.
You hear that, Trey?
That's that's locker room talk.
The funniest part, we have a for the video we have a color checker because we use a couple different cameras.
Yeah.
We want the colors to be consistent between them, so you can't tell they're different cameras. And Jake held his color checker up.
No. Like I said, locker room
Not
talk.
that offensive.
I can still run for president. No, stop it. Stop it.
What if I said that I said it?
Don't catch out of the bag. Dude, they're trying to take Burgers? What happens next? Burgers Lake? Burgers Mark Hamburger? I mean, what's one burger a month? I don't even know that I eat more than one burger a month, but I'm not gonna eat less now. I'm gonna eat more.
What are you doing?
Oh, you want to tell me just because PolitiFact says that's not actually in the bill, that it's not in the bill? You know PolitiFact's bias.
It's a dumb story anyways. You know, Joe Biden tells me I can't smoke weed and I'm blazed every night. You know, it's just not that big a deal.
I don't want to have
Who cares about the government?
I don't want to have to go to a guy's house who I'm not friends with for any other reason than he has the burgers. and then when I just want to take my burgers and leave, he says, "Why don't you just stay here and eat the burgers with me?" You know, and I'm like, "Oh man."
Yeah,
I didn't even really get a deal on these burgers.
You do have to. I mean, I don't know. I think there's something to the idea of governments are constrained, especially one set up like ours, are constrained like by what people actually think and care about, right? Like,
Explain.
Like we all love burgers.
We all love burgers.
You know that.
Love a burger.
And so they couldn't pass a law taking away burgers because we just, you know, I mean, like, one, they'd be voted out of office, but like, two, if there's just popular non-participation and that sort of thing. I mean, like, we got a lot of things going on that like are just kind of rolling disasters as a result of the government and the populace being wildly out of step, marijuana being a huge one.
The biggest.
But like, it's getting sorted out slowly. It's far more sorted out than it was fucking 2011.
So you tell me when I'm 55, I won't be able to eat burgers.
When we were living on Orem, there was no part of America where it was close to acceptable for a law enforcement person to pull you over with marijuana. And I've talked to a cop holding a bag of marijuana that I bought from the marijuana store while he wrote me a ticket for jaywalking. That's happened in my life.
Yeah, but I mean, that's true, but I'd love to see the tape of how you were walking. Just to...
Very Jay-like style.
A lot of J in this walk.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, we told the story whenever it happened, but I'm still so pissed about it.
That's
like I was halfway across the street when I noticed there's a cop with his lights on. And I was like, oh shit.
There must be a bank robbery occurring here, something big.
And then was like, man, he's gonna get me on this jaywalking. And then I saw that he was like writing someone else a ticket. So I was like, well, he's busy. Obviously can't get me on the jaywalking.
And then instead, he walked up and he had a mic and a denim shirt on, and he was like, "Do you know who the vice president is?"
What?
And he's like, "You're on jaywalking."
Okay, all right.
Popular late night smash hit segment.
Die.
Jaywalking.
No, and I
You
sat
can't even
down
love jaywalking now,
to
but
wait for my bus, and he just pulled up on the motorcycle. Was like, I saw that. Give me your information.
Long arm of the law, brother. I would say that if I had to
went
rank
to a class.
the classes,
Had to go to a
or excuse me,
class.
the charges to be most upset about, I can't think of one worse than that.
Just getting pissed off about jaywalking. I mean, the guy that wrote me the ticket for the license plate light that wasn't out, but in his opinion was a little dim. I feel like that's the all-timer.
That's bad, but I could conceivably see how that situation could put others at risk more than jaywalking, which it's a sliding scale here, primarily only would put you at risk.
You don't want other people living with the conscience of having smeared me into the tar.
Caitlyn Jenner's running for governor.
That's a good point.
She's thriving.
Yeah, known murderer, Caitlyn Jenner.
She's
fucking grabbing more power.
It kind of vaulted her. It wasn't the Arthur P. Ashe Award. It was the collection of gurneys off
got
the
back
side
in
of her.
the news. Yeah, just have the name on everyone's mouth as a result of the fucking string of vehicular accidents.
And I've told you my jaywalking story.
Yeah.
I got arrested out.
Brand new show?
Brand new and Census Fail.
That's what we're talking about.
My boys from Bergen County.
That bill back.
Dude, I'd go.
Pandemic's over.
Although I think so the fire department shut down a show. I think it was at Deep Ellum Live, maybe.
The fire department was being a little bit of a bitch. All due respect.
They said there were too many people. Obviously, that's what
having
they're there for.
too much fun.
Having too much
probably
emo
a big
fun.
problem.
And then the dude from Brand New was like, "Hey, we're gonna go outside and sit on the van and play acoustic." Hey, great idea, because now there are 700 teens crowded in a parking lot
all on Elm Street.
Don't have cars.
Yeah,
and they just started knocking us off. The other thing about that too, I say I would go, but I'm a guy who doesn't really separate the art from the artist. You know, it's not really my. I'm not
What's
a shut
the
up and
deal
dribble
there?
guy. I don't know the deal specifically, but I do know this. It seems like at least half of the pop punk bands that I revered in my time, and Brand New's not totally pop punk, but in that periphery. Hey, enough. Enough.
We're back at Jake's house, ladies and gentlemen.
You're goddamn right. You hear me?
She doesn't hear you, dude, and I think
No,
you
she
know
hears
it.
me. People can get one of two things. They can either get you dying or they can get me yelling at this old wench of a dog. Like half of those bands have at least one guy who
Well,
is,
Doc, we don't know how to. No, it's the doc telling you, looking you down the eyes, and just being like, it's unconventional. Science can't quite explain it, but it appears the only cure for these tumors is rubbing yourself profusely on the couch. You just think back, a montage plays in your head of all the times you yelled at her not to roll on the couch.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's a very
If only
morose outcome. And they're not tumors. They're like abscesses, okay?
They're tumors. I mean, you can have malignant and malignant or benign
They've
tumors.
been tested, and they told me they're abscesses or cysts.
I feel like all that's just tumor. It's a kind of tumor.
Well, what's not, then? Any growth is a tumor?
I think your arm is just two arm-shaped tumors. That's my understanding.
My point is, like half of the pop punk scene, and I kind of felt this at the time, to be honest with you.
Boy, these guys know riffs, but I have a vague sense that they're molesting people.
I'm serious. It never struck you as odd that we, as like 14 through 17-year-olds, were going to all-age shows to watch.
And then I take down your 7-year-old pants.
It's not a 7-year-old, and it's nobody. That was way too far. It's,
It
like,
was a bit of a warning sign when they sang that.
I feel like a lot of those bands had a lot of fans that were like 15, 16 years old. And unlike with your NSYNC or Backstreet Boys, who were like corporate property, who were taking jets and playing arenas, this was like, Gypsy Tea Room, or
the fan interactions for the Backstreet Boys are taking place in like
a meet and greet at most.
Yeah, like a bunch of security people. Like
this was like
the
meet me
entire
out back for a
labels there.
smoke.
Yeah, no, this is a Motel 6 lobby room. That's like if all the Backstreet Boys got to meet their fans in a Motel 6 lobby room,
Charges.
It would be it would have gone worse.
Up and down. Like Newfound Glory had one. I'm pretty sure Brand New got in trouble for something. This is not in the same category, but I think Tool Guy.
Yeah.
He had a lot of accusations against him.
It appears that on an average night after show for him, that he had a smorgasbord of women of questionable ages waiting back in the room.
What was his full name? I know people just say Maynard, but
Maynard James Keenan?
There you
go. Or is
go.
it James Maynard
That's
Keenan?
what I thought it
We'll
might
never
have been.
know.
But he goes by his middle name, kind of like McCorkle.
Kind of like McCorkle.
McCorkle Jones, number 3 overall pick. You never got that feeling? I guess you were like locked up whenever I was doing all that stuff. So I don't know. Even like the bands that we would open for that were like 23, 24, just kind of felt like they were all, dudes who, and frankly, that music is
it's a job where by definition, like you just have 17-year-olds throwing themselves at you every single night.
It's immature music though.
I wouldn't want that job. Like I don't think that I would like to hope that I could navigate it successfully, but I can recognize it's a strength of schedule that like I've never previously faced.
Now?
Any.
No, dude, I would say by the time I was probably like 23, 24, I was already on team 37 over 17. Now, if you're telling me that I'm somehow landed a job where my band appeals to 37-year-old, South Lake moms, I would have been in hot fucking water.
Well, no, they're just adults looking to have a good time. That's,
I know.
Just fine. You're gonna have to set up with husbands. That's about it. But dude, I don't know.
The pop punk scene was creepy.
I'm pretty confident. I've never been like close to a situation where like I wasn't like in control of myself and like knew what I like. I've never made any questionable decisions along those lines. There's not like a single time I've done an act with a person where I was like, I don't know. And the only time someone got mad at me afterwards, we detailed on a Patreon episode whenever Me Too was first going around, and I was like, man, what's the worst thing I've done? We did a Patreon about it. You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's.
I'm not cutting you off. I'm letting you.
Well, no, that's the depth of all of it. So I'm just saying, like, given all that, given my personal history, I think that I'd be just fine if they name me head of brand new tomorrow. But like, I just recognize that you're saying you prefer 37 over 17. Okay, there's like a hot 17-year-old like right now who's like, dude, my entire life was all I wanted to do is fucking have a big night with Jake Kemp.
I don't know.
I don't want to figure it out. You know what I mean?
Well, and so I think the heart of it from that,
like the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones were getting at. If I never had to knock on wood, I don't know what would happen.
But I mean, first you have to know someone who has.
Yeah, know someone who had. Look tough for him.
Yeah. So I really think it's mostly rooted in the fact that 28 to 32-year-old men were writing and playing songs about being 15.
Yeah, no, that's weird. Yeah.
That's a different sort of element, and that is why
ultimately
I feel like we should appreciate Mark, Tom, and Travis to our dying days.
Yeah, I mean, you want to like make bets about whether or not?
I'll start with Mark. Yes, I'll make bets.
I don't know. I'm happy that everyone, because you got to wonder how many like questionable things where the person's just like, Not to say that anyone who brings up this stuff is a drama person. I feel like I support people who speak out unquestionably, but I'm sure that there's bands that had like one thing that where they crossed the line and just like the person was like, I don't want to fucking talk to the press. That sounds like a beating.
But none of those people had dealings with Mark Hoppus. That's the facts.
I mean, you're telling me it looks like Travis has never committed a sex crime?
I will rescind the inclusion of Travis in this conversation.
Okay, thank you.
So the burger thing.
So back to burgers.
Yeah, I don't know. I know it's been like debunked, but I
don't even think that's the best one from this week.
What was?
The idea that the Border Patrol had like a care package including Kamala's book.
Yeah.
I saw the book at, I'm pretty sure it was the same one because I took a picture because I was like, what the fuck is this? I was just walking through Target and they just had a fucking book that was like, this is what Kamala thinks.
Is it like a kid's book?
Yeah.
It's like a picture book type thing.
No,
right?
it would be weird if they were handing out her book for adults to
It's
migrant
just a
children.
series of legal briefs about how to put people in jail.
This isn't it. This is a book that Josh, I think I told you this. Josh gave us all the books he had as a kid for Izzy to have. And we found out that his parents were giving him some pretty tough material.
Dude, have you talked to him at all about his parents?
Yeah, no, I know. Well, it
that's-
wasn't like a surprise. It's just seeing the
That one was called
evidence
The
is,
Unjust Judge and had a lot of overtones in the imagery.
It's just, yeah.
Probably leave it at that.
It's a judge who looks mad.
Yeah. And like...
And just have you ever seen someone with that facial expression on a child's book? Like,
No.
all children's
And-
books are like, everything's going great. Like, the world is a welcoming place full of love. Whereas the Christians in the room are like, no, it's hell.
Yeah, it's not every judge is going to be just. And yeah, it does have like a turn of the millennia type vibe to it.
Yeah. Well, my photos aren't updating, so you don't
that's
get to
fine.
see the Kamala book.
So the burger thing.
So the burger thing.
No, I think I thought when you said, because I'm really having a fun time in the culture wars these days. Love them. I think everything's going awesome.
That's good.
And obviously, ground zero for this is Tucky Tuck.
Tucky Tuck. You're going to have to give me more there.
And former artist formerly known as the Bowtie Wearer. That shit the other night was, I guess it might even have been last night.
If it was last night, I don't know what you're talking about.
You should watch it.
Okay.
I think you can just watch it, and then maybe we can put the audio in after the fact or something.
Just send it to me. Play it through my computer, and it'll...
Just Twitter search Tucker Carlson.
Just Twitter search Tucky Tuck.
Tucky Tuck. Tucky C. Yeah, no, it's... So there's the burger thing is like, all right, we have this climate plan. Do you have any problems with like the... what are the finer issues here? Is it spending?
Yeah, no,
Is it
I know the burger thing, but go
then
ahead.
it's just like, all right,
Yeah.
no, we're not going to talk about any of that. We're going to
the
to make it about
CPS thing? Yeah.
I mean, it's
Let's watch
even
it.
for him, it's extremely unhinged.
Of accuracy. One editorial note, by the way, before we continue. This show, in the interest of accuracy, will cease referring to the White House or anything associated with it, the entire executive branch of government,
No, that's
as
the
the,
book.
quote, Biden administration. And the reason we're
sounds fun
changing
too,
is not
though.
to make a statement, but merely to reflect reality. Joe Biden, whatever his merits as a human being, has no active role in running the U.S. government. Everyone knows that. Everyone pretends otherwise.
Everyone knows
but it's
it,
true.
right?
They pretend otherwise,
And
but
so
it's
hence-
true. Do you find the way, like, all due respect, right? Like, I'm a guy who tries to accommodate other viewpoints in certain ways, but, like,
They all
I have a
look-
hard time with people who just are able to tolerate his voice.
Or just, him for having that voice. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the Shapiro effect too, Yeah, here you go. That's
This
the
is
one.
it.
That's the heater.
I can't see your face. I can't know you. Masks are for the guilty.
that's a
They're
good point.
signifiers of shame and submission.
Interesting.
Until recently, many jurisdictions
gimp.
had laws against wearing masks in public. Only Klansmen and armed robbers wore masks. The rest of us showed our face. We were free
Quite
people.
an invocation.
But then we gave in to the demands of people like Eric
Gave
Garcetti,
in.
and because we did give in, this grotesque version of Halloween went on for more than a year, and it's still going on. Not even Tony Fauci still pretends that masks are medically necessary. Instead, masks are purely a sign of political obedience, like Kim Il-sung pins in Pyongyang.
Oh, it's
We wear them
exactly
because
the
we
same
have
as
to.
Pyongyang.
The only people who wear
Yeah,
masks voluntarily outside are zealots and neurotics.
Oh, yes.
How neurotic are they? Well, we know. A Pew survey from last March found that 64% of white Americans who classify themselves as liberal or very liberal have been diagnosed with an actual mental health condition. And you see them everywhere when you walk down the street in any
Fucking
major city.
crazies.
If you dare to go on foot from Union Station to the Capitol, for example, in Washington without wearing a mask, angry Biden voters will snort at you in judgment. How could you?
that
They're saying
sounds
from behind
tough.
the bars.
Is that
How
true?
could you?
Look, he said, how
That's
could
the
you?
question
They're saying
we should
from
be asking
behind
of
the
them in
mask.
return.
Yeah.
The rest of us should be snorting at them
Minority
first.
Report
They're the aggressors.
type of stuff
It's
is that?
our job to
They're the
brush them
aggressors.
back and restore the society we were born in.
Yeah.
Oh,
So the next time you
God.
see someone in a
Yes, sir.
mask on the
Coated,
sidewalk,
coated,
Oh,
but
man.
not so coated,
ask
coated.
politely
That
but
is just
firmly, would you
dripping.
please take off your mask? Science shows there is no reason for you to be wearing it. Your mask is making me uncomfortable.
He's got a rallying cry.
We should do that, and we should keep doing it until wearing a mask outside is roughly as socially accepted as lighting a Marlboro in an elevator.
Yep.
It's repulsive. Don't do it around other people.
Is he saying we should bring that back?
Yeah, I mean, look,
As
I'd
for
love
forcing
both.
children to wear
I'd get a
masks
little hole
outside,
in my
that should be
mask.
illegal. Your response when you see children wearing masks
elevator
as they play should be no different from your response to seeing someone
be
beat
a
a
long
kid
ride,
at Walmart.
folks.
Call the police immediately. Contact Child Protective Services.
Who's got a light in
Keep
this
calling until
elevator?
someone arrives. What
Yeah,
you're
this
looking
is
at
what
is
he's saying.
abuse.
Call.
It's child abuse, and you
It's
are
child
morally
abuse.
obligated
your
to
kid wear a
attempt to
mask.
prevent it. If it's your own children being abused, then
Okay, yeah, I mean, I feel like you got the gist.
Yeah. And I do think that was the part that people were most objecting to. Questioning the editing choices made by the individual who put up that particular clip. But yeah,
Or by anybody on Twitter.
it's just exhausting, dude. I just can't imagine carrying that much. I mean, like, at this point, because I'm vaccinated, I am, like, a little annoyed. But, like, if I think that it's going to make the people inside the store a little more ill at ease, or a little more at ease, then I'll happily do it because I like people and I'm a nice person.
And until I had this,
And if I think that they don't care, then, like, I'm not going to wear it.
Yeah, well, until I had this mid-'80s henchman affect to me, I liked wearing it.
Yeah.
And I liked, like you said, I liked that everybody's wearing it because you're like, I don't know, what she got going on.
Yeah.
A little intrigue.
That is nice. Yeah.
That was whenever I believe you were actually advocating for Sharia law in the U.S. because you said, quote, it makes women hot.
I mean, I do think it is obviously true for people of both sexes that the less of them you can see, the more you're just filling it in.
There's a limit. And the mask is below that limit.
Whenever you see someone in, like, the full, where you can just see the eyes.
I feel like that's
You tell me,
disrespectful.
like, I don't assume that they're, like, a model, but, like, I'm probably imagining a better picture than what it is.
I mean, there's a small something.
The
to
average
that, but
weight of the
I view
population
that
and the
as
average weight of people I imagine is two wildly different things.
I view that as oppression when I see that, not like, ooh, sexy.
No, obviously I don't think anyone should be required to wear it. Duh.
Well, why else would they ever?
I mean, like, dude, look at the list of things people have done in the name of religion. Like, you don't have fucking skin on your penis, my man. All they're talking about is wearing a fucking hood.
I still got some skin, just not that skin.
I want to be clear. I don't have an entirely skinless penis.
Will you bail on a foreskin laden adult material?
Huh?
Like, if you, I guess I've never really asked you the question.
Would I get a male child circumcised?
Yeah.
I would not.
Really?
Yeah. It's fucking cutting his dick, dude. Hell no.
So it just looks fun.
You don't know what it's like, dude. You forgot.
Yeah, that's the point.
Not all of us have that luxury.
Because you got circumcised the second time whenever you were in 8th grade.
I wasn't in 8th grade. I was 2.
You don't remember that.
I do. It's my first memory. I'm laying on a table. I can imagine the room, and there's intense pain that won't stop. That's like my first fucking memory of life. It explains a lot about how I am, why I am.
Because TC had such a large child hog that they're like, listen.
It grew back. We didn't get it.
We didn't get it all the first time. It's like pulling weeds. Like if you don't get it at the root, you're basically just making the problem worse for yourself.
No,
later.
I can remember 3 things from before the age of 5. The first one is getting my dick recut. The second one is being so sick I couldn't open presents on Christmas, and my brother's just like tugging my arm, being like, "Look, we got all this stuff," and I'm just like, "You can have it."
Sicker than you were your Sunday?
Yes, much sicker.
Okay,
sickest I've ever been in my life. And then number 3 was breaking my collarbone. I'd seen a lot of Darkwing Duck. He could hang upside down from things. I tried it from a slide in the greater New Jersey area. It didn't work out for me. Broke my collarbone. It's third memory before the age of 5.
I think I only have like 1, maybe 2.
Was it also pain?
Nah, not really. I remember there was a kid in my preschool class that was like a real big bully asshole. And his name was Robbie.
Dude, fuck him.
I mean, that's a great bully name, though.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even really all that mean to me. He was just, I remember thinking like, man, I feel kind of bad for this kid.
You
Even
just
when
put
I was
in
like
the ambient
4.
energy.
But nobody like, got, garden shears to my child pee-pee.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even feel comfortable really mentioning my memories because none of them are even remotely as traumatic. But yeah, I mean, just based on, when I watch an adult film that has a man who's uncircumcised and it makes me uncomfortable, I think I go circumcise. I hope I'm never faced with this question.
Yeah, no, I mean, like,
would love another daughter.
this is a big thing between me and my wife, with her initially being on that side of just like being like, that like
You're gonna get dirty dick.
every chick's gonna be like, what the fuck?
It sounds like possibly at some point she said, "What the fuck?" I'm not gonna dig, but
I think it was more that she was the like recipient of girlfriends coming back and
with
being
what
like,
the fuck?
what a fucking strikeout.
And you want that?
I
want to
mean,
create
like,
that
it's just
life.
that you got to balance a couple of factors here. And,
Not everybody has to get cut when they have memories a second time. You're an
I know
extreme
that.
outlier.
I know that.
Unless it's genetic.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it probably is. I would assume that skin growth rates are genetic. No, but it's just like I think that it is mutilation. Like you're cutting off something. Even if they don't remember it, I don't think it's great. Like to have them go through that experience. I want my child to experience the least amount of pain possible. And then
You gonna let her get her ears pierced?
I do. Yeah. If she wants to. I mean, if I had a son and he grew up and decided he wanted to be circumcised, I wouldn't stand in his way. I knew a kid who got circumcised at like 17.
Shut up.
I did. I did. I
No
swear.
way.
I swear to God,
I guarantee
dude.
you in that case they at least shoot you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
But then maybe it never wears off.
No, his parents had like a we want him to decide thing. It was a kid at Excel. And before he went to Excel,
What is wrong with people?
before he went to Excel, he'd been like riding ATVs and had like hit a tree or something and kind of got racked. And so that had caused the cyst to grow
It was an
on
abscess.
one of his nuts. And so I had to get his nut cyst taken care of. And he's like, well, if the whole thing's going to be numbed up anyways,
Yeah.
just go ahead and lop it off there, doc.
It's like when Willie Cauley-Stein went to add Stein to his last name because it was his mom's maiden name. Like I think she got divorced and he wanted her name in his name because she raised him. So he went to the office where you change your name and they were like, is that all you want to change? And he was like, what do you mean? And they're like, well, you're paying, you can change anything, which is when he made his legal middle name Trill.
Hell yeah.
His legal name is Willie Trill Cauley-Stein.
That's good. Yeah. No,
It is good.
I like that.
Oh, I texted you about this the other day, and I feel like this is a safe, open space here. So I thought about this when I heard Tucky Tuck talking about white Americans who identify as progressive having a diagnosed mental illness. So I started going to a therapy session like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
To deal with your diagnosed mental illness?
Yeah, exactly. Of being cut as a baby.
Yeah.
And the first time I went was the Friday before I went on vacation. The first time, I mean, I've been before, but now I'm like trying to do it consistently. The first time I went was the Friday before vacation, and I went right from Dan's house. And what you may know about Fridays in the Hang Zone is Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Friday.
I do know that.
So my first time meeting this therapist, I'm like waiting in the lobby. The woman who left before me definitely looked like she attended a lot of if Tool was popular right now. I mean, she had a lot going on, if we're just being honest.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't know Hot Topic was still in business. Type thing.
Did you get her number?
No, she was very young, TC, and I am a happily married man.
Sorry, I didn't have that detail.
But I felt the Curb music playing. Like as I walked in and sat down in like shorts and a red and blue Hawaiian, and I'm like, hey man, I'm sad. It's like, what could you be sad about? You look festive. Are those coconuts? And then when I was leaving, there was I assume married couple. I don't know. They could have just been in a relationship, male and female, they didn't look pleased with each other. They didn't look pleased to be there. And I'm like, wasted away again. Like just strolling out.
I just
It was
imagine
such an
her
awkward
like
first time of like,
if the goth chick was like a half hour late or whatever, just looking at you and being like, I don't feel bad about going overtime.
Yeah,
This
no, he
guy
can
doesn't
wait.
need it.
Look at him. He's got a sweet beard and a Hawaiian button up on.
Look like Dr. Thomas Bahama has done enough therapy on him already.
Thomas Bahama. Do you want to play your Windhorse audio?
Yeah, we can do that.
I got one more thing for you, but it's kind of depressing but kind of funny. Which one would you rather end on?
I think I'd rather end on funny. Is that a trick question?
Well, this is kind of depressing but kind of funny. Yours is just funny.
Okay, then yeah, do your thing. Well,
Okay.
I mean, I just don't know how well this is going to land. That's my nervousness.
Well, so this video came out yesterday. This video initially was from the New York Police Union.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what they're. This one's from Detectives Endowment Association of.
I like the parts of it that say New York and Union.
Yeah. So what we have here, and if you haven't seen this video, you can just Twitter or Google NYPD detective or video. So what we have here is broad daylight. I don't know if this happened yesterday or Sunday, but fairly recently. It's broad daylight, and there is a man who at first glance you might not recognize as a detective, but he is. He's an older gentleman. He's got a mask on, gray hair.
Looks a little bit like Martin Sheen.
Vaguely, yeah. Maybe let himself go a little bit, but he's standing in front of a shop or storefront that has a busted window, okay? Mm-hmm. Glass all over the ground. Don't know if there was another crime committed, but this gentleman in his police-issued cargo pants, khaki, of course, curious, is filling out a police report.
When you're police, you gotta have extra pockets.
Yeah, of course. You got all that ammo. All those,
Imagine
lollipops.
reaching in cargo pants pockets for ammo. Like, I'm fucking out. You just got loose bullets in your
arm just
fucking
keeps
cargo
going all
pants.
the way down. You're like, God, they're so far down here. So again, broad daylight. There's people walking up and down the sidewalk, and this gentleman is writing what appears to be a report. So we roll the tape. Now, at that point, what you have is a young black man who is wearing a hoodie, and then his mask is it's not a gator, but it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like it's over his mouth, it's over his head, but you can...
Bit of a wrap.
But you can see it's not a full TC preference of women. You can see...
I've got a good idea of how attractive he is.
Yeah, okay. So again, we're going to roll it. What happens here is this man walks up with two almost like I don't know what type of weaponry you would call them. They're like walking sticks almost, but they appear to be of like a martial arts type of
I would think it's just a walking stick.
But he's got one in each hand, and he lightly taps this man on the head. The man who strikes him begins to retreat very slowly, walking backward as
kind of shuffle like a skip step back.
Yeah, he's not running though. He sauntered up, tapped this man in the head with a walking stick, and then lightly retreats. But there's a cop right there. There was another cop with this man filling out the report. He is now checking on his wounded comrade, not chasing to, I don't know, beat the shit out of the guy who just walked up and hit a cop in the face with a stick. He's checking on the guy.
Because Martin Sheen does appear to take that stick pretty hard. It doesn't look like it would hurt to me, but like he's down.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
So the hit occurs. Oh my God, I've been hit. Cop's like, oh, what are you doing? Check on my partner. Now I'm going to provide chase. The guy's still not running, really. He's kind of barely jogging. The cop is running, but now he's turning back like, oh man, I should probably go chase this guy. Even though it's the NYPD, we very easily know we could get support for, absolutely running up on you. Now here's something else I'm going to show you, TC, if I can pause it on time. We check in on the man down. He's now down on his knees, just in horrible pain.
Got him real good across the ear, I guess. Now he looks less like Martin Sheen. And I got a better look at him. I don't think he's one of the Sheens at all.
All right, well, I can't freeze it in time, but somewhere in here you can see, a little slow-mo on you, that the man filming,
okay,
it sure appears to be the man filming, as he accidentally, when he's turning to film, looks like a cop.
Oh, just wanted to get a classic, all what these guys are doing to us.
Yeah.
Dude, this sucks.
have a lot of suspicions about this video. From the way that, seriously, and I don't even know that anybody would be mad. Here's what I think about this. Like, if people are like, oh, they can't just go beat the guy up, they got a camera right there. Dude, a couple weeks ago, there was a magnificent ambulance joyride through Dallas, all parts of Dallas, north, east, everywhere. Did you catch this? It was great.
Heard about it. I did not get to experience it.
Phenomenal.
I'm sad that
An all-time great. The guy was just chilling for like half of it. One hand on the wheel, like reclined in an ambulance.
I know the feeling well.
Twisted Metal?
GTA 5.
Okay. That guy gave the cops such a hard time.
Whenever you die, you come out of the hospital and there's some fucking ambulances right there. You still got a little bit of that adrenaline pumping in your system.
Dude, when they caught that guy, that was still being broadcast on all the local news websites. They fucking destroyed this guy. And nobody's mad about it. I mean, they shouldn't.
I don't think it's a... But I'm mad about it.
But I'm saying there's no like outrage about that. Nobody's like, oh, what could... But this is the, the tweet says, welcome to NYC. Even as our detectives investigate crimes, they're attacked by emboldened criminals who have quickly realized there are no consequences for lawbreakers in the city.
Yeah, the emboldened is probably the thing I'm most interested there. And I mean, then they spell it out by have quickly realized there are no consequences. Like, what are they talking about? Like, because of the Chauvin verdict, like now?
Yeah, and the defund the police movement.
But see, that's not like a quickly, That was like, what? So last June, people were like, maybe you guys should stop kicking our ass. And they were like, look at this. A mere 6 months later, people hit guys with sticks.
But again, this could be just the strangest occurrence ever, and it actually is exactly what it looks like. But okay, at this point, when the dude, it's not that hard of a whack, by the way. Kind of gives him a little tappy tap on the head with the stick. Not saying it wouldn't hurt a little bit. It probably did.
I'll tell you this: if we were looking at this video last summer and it was a cop doing the whack instead, it would not have. I mean, it wouldn't have been tweeted because it wouldn't have made the top fucking million of most aggressive acts.
That's that
really smarts.
I'm probably gonna feel that for a couple hours. And there's another cop there.
Yeah.
Now there is maybe 15 feet in between him and the perpetrator, who is not retreating all that heavily. I would say 99 times out of 100, this dude, perpetrator, does not make it to this sidewalk at that speed with this cop right here. He will pile drive you into, I don't know, the waiting cop car right there.
Yeah.
It feels...
prime opportunity. Just sandwich him up against that, open the door, toss him in.
Oh, who knows? I don't want to have to take an Advil later if he is emboldened enough to also lightly strike me in the head with the walking stick as I provide pursuit.
I didn't want to go near him. He had a walking stick.
I just thought, maybe it is exactly what it looks like, but it seems real suspicious. And this, of course, has to be added into the milkshakes incident.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just Milkshake was the NYPD, so, same department and everything. And that's always a tough thing. Like, as we're trying to evaluate the behaviors of police departments across the country last summer, it is tough because, it's not like the Grapevine police did all of those things.
Right.
I got to sneeze here. Or maybe I don't. I'll try and fight through it. But, our local police, Dallas, I do not feel comported themselves especially well. They did a good amount of firing tear gas on people who weren't doing anything but chanting.
Yeah, the bridge scene was definitely one that I would bet everybody wishes they had a do-over on.
I just wish they acted like they wish they had a do-over.
That's a fair point, too.
They're kind of like, we kind of killed it.
Yeah.
So, I guess
I look
start
down
your
at the
questions
board
there.
and see nothing but good things.
Yeah.
I need to get that in the open tomorrow.
Please do. No, I don't know how this is going to land because I didn't. It's a long thing. If they'd had the substance of this fight over 30 seconds, then this would be explosive and it'd be easy to play. But it is a simmering boil. We're jumping into minute 26 of a 45-minute podcast, and it's just been building up that whole time. But what's basically going on here is we got Brian Windhorst with the Hoop Collective, Marvel-style podcast ESPN's doing, I guess.
It's
Tim McMahon and Tim Bontemps, all the Tims.
not all the time, though.
It's not them all the time?
That's the thing, is that sometimes they'll have Jackie, sometimes they'll have Kevin Pelton.
But it's always Windhorst.
It's always Windhorst. It's his show, and there's about 4 or 5 people who they rotate through. Depending on what they're talking about for the most part. Tim is...
The big topic being lunch, is my understanding.
All right, he does have an... who doesn't love lunch, though? You know? I mean, that's what...
I like lunch. It's just a boring topic of conversation.
If every single time I saw somebody, before I even asked, they told me what they had for lunch, I would appreciate that. When I get home, as my wife's
like that at all.
As my wife has been working from home for like the past 14 months, and I get to Dan's early enough that it's not a great time to pick up lunch, like at 10:40. I mean, I guess you could, but then maybe it's cold by the time you want to eat it at 11:45 or noon. And I have as great as Dan's house is, I have a very small, like 2 foot by 2 foot little. I have to T-Rex arm to eat. One of the first things I ask her when I get home every day, I'm like, what'd you have for lunch? And I'm just sort of living vicariously through her lunch freedom. I love to know what people had for lunch because I'm thinking about what I'm going to have for lunch tomorrow right now.
I do enjoy in my new life and daily routine and everything. I wrote down all of the places that I like to eat lunch around the house, and just at some point every day I take it out and look at it.
Do you ever consider how comments like that are going to land with me after the despair that I just laid out for you? You just don't, do you?
Supposed to apologize for having a good life?
You didn't apologize for jumping me in the vaccine after I tried to hook you up, so I don't expect it now.
Whatever, dude. That was the most unsubstantiated objection you've ever had. But yeah, so Tim Bontemps has done a straw poll of the MVP. I guess he does this periodically.
Yeah, and he does. He's been doing it for a while.
And at the previous taking of the temperature, it had been a 3-way race between LeBron, Embiid, and Nikola Jokic. And in the time since then, Jokic had opened up a big gap between him and the rest of the competitors.
Mostly due to injury. And that's kind of the big thing here is that I don't know exactly what it's the entire argument is odd. And by the way, I do want to make sure I give proper credit. I came upon this just because Michael Surtain listens to this podcast. Yeah, I listen quite a bit
on a regular basis, and was like, hey, you listen to this and you don't fucking tune on Simmons and Russillo?
Oh yeah, absolutely, dude. At least
way
these 3
higher
people.
Quality.
No, it's not, dude.
Absolutely.
These 3 bills. Yeah, let's not get mired in my.
During my my last trip, I don't mean vacation. I did get to thinking about Simmons and Russillo for a while.
What?
I was just it's just one of those things where your mind is moving fast and things are popping in and out and who the fuck knows how any of them get there. But then things slow down and you're like, all right, well, while this is here, let's look at it for a while. Let's
investigate this Bill and Ryan
turn it over,
relationship.
Look at it from every angle. And I realized that I kind of care about the basketball they're talking about a little bit.
You've already told me this.
Okay, all right.
That you just like that Ryan can't stand Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, to be fair to my octopus teacher, this was a couple months ago. Maybe more. But
okay.
Yeah. And I can see.
I did it on the podcast?
I think so.
Oh, all right.
I can see that there is something to that. the dynamic of Ryan being like, I can make a lot of money by listening to you.
And just watching him like try to pat around there.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily that he straight up doesn't like him. It's just that there's certain things that annoy him. It's basically that Ryan thinks he's never like said anything like this. And I think that if you like put something like this to him, he would object. But based on the way he talks at times, it's clear to me that he thinks that if he had been given all of Bill's opportunities, that like the fucking Ryan Russillo empire would be able to be seen from space.
Yeah.
Like just that like he knows Bill has achieved so much more than him, but is not at all willing to countenance the idea that Bill is like intrinsically more talented or like knows any of this stuff better than him. So like watching him, but he does have a keen sense, like, I don't know. I don't even want to put you on this because like you're also a pragmatic guy who like at base is just like a pretty nice person that wouldn't say rude things to people he didn't know well. So like, but
get out of here.
You know, like you could imagine like if you had enough drinks in you and you ran into Bill Simmons that you'd be like, you fucking dummy. You thought Joel Embiid was 7'3". You're a fraud.
Who knows?
Ryan's just too like attuned into, you know, what he's trying to do, carve out this independent of ESPN empire where he still does have like enough going on that he can like live in Manhattan Beach.
And he's not in Montana, so he's not off his rocker.
But yeah, so
hey, get out of here.
It's the personal dynamics that does that for me more. But yeah, anyways. So they got this straw poll going. The weird thing for me is that like I think that Windhorst is making a nonsensical argument. Or nonsensical is a little too strong. I certainly don't agree with Windhorst's point. But it's the kind of thing where you're looking at it and like you're like, Jesus Christ, you guys don't got to say it that way.
Yeah.
Like, Bontemps is going at him so hard. But yeah, Windhorst's point is that Embiid is a worthy MVP candidate, despite the injuries, because he is playing right now, and he does change the game for his team.
Let me also add this final point. Anytime you hear something like this happen in the entertainment world, in the content game, tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
It ain't just about this. There's been 10 other times where Bontemps wanted to say something, be it in a production situation or on the podcast, and he's felt like I bit my tongue even though I am sitting here running data models all day and grinding, and you are doing whatever it is that you do. Not exactly Russillo and Bill Simmons, but
which is
I've listened to this enough to know that sometimes Bontemps just lays out.
I've started to think about how, you know, like obviously we are analytics guys. We're in favor.
For sure. Yeah.
It's
Take
been
that for data.
A long time stance. And I've started to think about how that is like whenever you're trying to understand the world, respecting the data is very important. And like that's a good approach. But like whenever you're trying to engage in conversation with someone, it's a pretty shitty thing to do to be like, yeah, well, I've seen some studies, so it's kind of the end of that.
Depends on the topic.
Yeah, no, it is. But like I would just say to Tim Bontemps, you know, like the fact that you ran this information, like, so that's the podcast. We're just going to show up and be like,
close it up.
Yeah.
What's the point?
You know, like surely we can find something that we can talk about, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Anyways, let's listen to them as they discuss whether or not Joel Embiid should be receiving more than the 5 straw votes that he got for first in the most recent round.
Jokic deserves to win, but then you're acting like I'm an idiot, and other people who voted for Jokic are idiots and are not looking at the data votes, and Embiid has 20. No one's going to care. Like, this is the thing about your argument. You keep saying Jokic deserves to win, but then you're acting like I'm an idiot, and other people who voted for Jokic are idiots and are not looking at the data.
That's not what I said. I said disregarding Embiid for this particular year because of injury. I think is unfair.
Disregarding him for him to finish second.
Hey, yeah, I was going to say, this is like, honestly, yeah. You've gone full blown crazy, Wendy.
This is an insane argument.
This is like when James Harden and his people whine about how disrespected he is when he finishes top 3 in MVP voting every year. It's like, how are you so disrespected? You're getting votes every year.
I am disappointed at my media brethren for being so obtuse and shallow.
Oh,
in the
Brian,
straw poll that you
say
did
that when he finished second?
First of all, I don't even know what obtuse means, so I got to look it up.
Legend.
Like 2/3 of the games. People are allowed to use that as a part.
I do. Like I'm glad that you.
I love Tim McMahon so much, dude. He's a really funny dude.
There's certainly more here, but I don't know. Like I forgot about this, but there was something within the first minute where like McMahon already seemed like I've been in locker rooms with him a couple times. I kind of doubt that he would like remember who I am or anything. But like, so I have seen him operate personally, and I understand that like this is his personality, and I accept it. But it is kind of like there's points with the way he talks. So I'm like, why do you even go on this podcast?
Yeah, yeah, and it's not always like this. But again, this has been building. But Tim is definitely, I would say, confrontational. But I mean, everybody's heard the Rick.
I like talking to people who I respect.
Yeah, and I think this one falling out doesn't mean they don't respect each other. But
I would say his tone, like I'm thinking of the thing in the first minute where like it's kind of, it just kind of had the feel of like, you're on Brian's dumb podcast.
But
again.
At this point, though, he's basically Gordo if George and Craig were in an argument about something.
Yeah, no, his role in this, it's mainly Bontemp and Windhorst going at each other.
He is tripping people from the sideline.
Yeah.
Their vote. You acting like this is insane is stupid.
Of course you can use it as part of your vote. I'm saying that it's a mistake to view this as the reason. In the straw poll that you did in February, which I now have in front of me.
Yeah, I looked it up. LeBron had 53 votes, Embiid had 28, and Jokic had 16, right? There was 23 and 18.
LeBron had 53, Embiid had 23, Jokic was 18. That is not a I know that in the totals it was close. That is LeBron winning by a large margin. Okay? So LeBron was way ahead. So it was not a three-way race.
Okay. I mean, you can make up the damn rules to the poll if you want. You want to do the poll in the future? Or
no, I don't. I'm glad that you do. I'm glad that you do.
Okay, well then maybe you should actually listen to people. Because you are being a jackass.
I am listening to it. I am listening. I'm listening to my fellow media. Yes, I am listening.
You're so right, dude. It is that, like, I'm thinking of the I think you should leave sketch. I'm imagining that, like, Cecily Strong, how she talks to her husband.
Yeah.
In the how could, like, it's the sketch where it's a magician, and he's like using a member of the audience as a foil, and then that guy gets home, and his wife's like, "How come you didn't speak up to that musician?
You let him pull out your little baby dick and jack you off in
you
front of all those people.
10 times more than he does."
Yeah, it's gold.
Couldn't tell it from the suit. And so I just imagine like that Tim has just been enduring years of getting home, and his wife's like, "See that fucking Brian to boss you around again, didn't you?" He's like, "Not fucking this time. You do the poll, you jackass!" Like, Jesus Christ, guys, it's Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic getting the fucking MVP. Who cares?
It's not the burger debate.
It's not. it's not like one of you is gonna get the trophy. Like, it's some other person winning an award. Who gives a fuck?
Brian,
my fellow media brethren has made it very, very clear that if you miss 10 games because somebody falls into your knee, you can't be MVP. They've made that
talking about not when it's a neck and neck race. You can't. Nope. Not when it's neck and neck.
Being obtuse is remarkable because this is honestly the most obtuse argument you could make.
Honestly,
you're distilling this entire thing down to Joel had one unfortunate thing happen, so therefore he got screwed, and this is an embarrassment. I'm frankly very angry that you're acting like this is an embarrassment.
You're being annoyingly insensitive on that.
It doesn't.
Maybe take your glove off.
None of this makes any sense to me.
Well, I'm tired of having a circular argument here.
Well, I'm
angry. I'm angry at my media brethren. That's what I'm angry at. I'm not angry at anything else. If Jokic wins the MVP, he absolutely deserves it. That is not my position. My position is Embiid has been ruled ineligible.
You're not going to get away with.
I don't know how much. I don't know if we can go through the whole thing, but
we could play more.
Okay.
But I think that I think he's just saying that the margin doesn't make sense to him. Like that he views
games missed as part of the margin.
He views Jokic. No, I agree with everyone who's disagreeing with Windhorse, but you were expressing disbelief didn't seem to be understanding what he was getting at. I think he's just saying that he sees two guys who are equally killing it, and it's frustrating to him that the entire blob has decided that because one guy had someone else fall into their knee that he's no longer in the running.
Yeah, well, when they're close, that matters.
Yeah, no, I
and look, I'm not mad about
entirely.
anything. It's just my media brethren.
You're not going to, because this entire time you keep saying, "Oh well, it's not a big deal if Jokic wins. He deserves to win." But everybody's a goddamn moron for not voting Joel first because he got hurt.
So wait a minute. Are you saying that they're voting Jokic 95-5, or was it 90-5?
90-5.
90-5, because Jokic is that much better than Embiid? You think the injury?
No, see that I hate that argument. First of all, look, it's not like you're not putting weight on your vote. You're not saying, well, I vote him 90. I give him 90% of the vote and him 5%. No, dude. If 90 people agree, it's not like they're all saying this is just an absolute no-brainer blowout, even though I think it is.
If everyone thinks that
he got 90 votes because 90 people,
and like everyone's like, well, he's first by a little bit, but I'm gonna put the other guy second. Like,
what is this? What country does that?
What, the first past or non-first past the post, the ranked choice voting?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Somebody does it.
I mean, there's places.
Yeah,
not enough of them.
Not the NBA.
Not the NBA. But yeah, I mean, but even in a ranked choice voting situation, like if you're putting like. Saying I've got this guy at 1 and this guy at 2 does not say anything about the gap between 1 and 2. So you could have 100 people who all agree that Jokic is the first place and just slightly Embiid is the second place.
This is basic.
And it would
I don't understand
scan as 100 people voted for Jokic, but it doesn't mean that like they'd see a large difference. Anyways, I'm going to skip ahead some.
First place vote for MVP.
Nikola Jokic, another triple-double last night in a blowout win over the Heat.
Yeah.
First game without Jamal Murray. Jokic just keeps on rolling.
Jokic is a great player and a worthy MVP. I'll say it for the 5th time. I'm tired of having
okay, good.
That.
A worthy MVP. So the next straw poll, he'll have 91 first-place votes because he just got yours. Let's move on.
Really disappointing news.
Yeah.
Man, nobody comes off better in this than Tim effing McMahon.
And really, given like other parts of it, it is like how do the other two make it so that McMahon seems like the voice of reason? Like, with all due respect, like, I don't know, he's kind of grumpy, and like the fact that the other two are like just going at each other's throats so hard that it's like, here's voice of reason, Tim McMahon. It's an achievement,
man. That's gold. All right, well, I got kid duty tonight, so I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna eat everybody's burgers for the year.
Eat up the whole lot
for dinner. Yep, that's right. Try and stop me.
That's it for tonight. The high school special is next, so until tomorrow, for everyone who's been a part of this one,
I'm TC and Jake.
We do thank you for watching. Good night.